Long before dragons filled myths, movies, and medieval stories, something far more real ruled the oceans. It didn't breathe fire or fly through the sky. It didn't guard treasure or castles. It lived beneath the waves, silent, massive, and perfectly built to kill. And long before humans ever tried to explain it, this creature inspired the very idea of sea dragons. Its name was Tylosaurus. Tylosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period, around 85 million years ago, when the oceans covered much of the planet. This was not a fish and not a dinosaur, but a massive marine reptile related to modern monitor lizards and snakes. Growing up to 45 feet long, Tylosaurus was one of the largest predators of its time. Its skull alone could measure over 5 feet, armed with long, conical teeth designed not to chew, but to seize and crush prey. Fossil evidence shows that Tylosaurus was not a cautious hunter. Bite marks found on shark fossils, sea turtles, and even other mosasaurs suggest it attacked almost anything it encountered. Scientists believe it often struck from below, using its blunt snout to stun prey before delivering a fatal bite. In the ancient oceans, it had few rivals. Across Europe and Asia, early sea serpent and dragon myths describe massive creatures rising from the water, attacking ships, and disappearing without a trace. When early humans later uncovered long, curved fossil bones and massive skull fragments, it's easy to imagine how these remains were interpreted. To someone with no concept of prehistoric reptiles, a Tylosaurus skeleton would look exactly like a dragon pulled from legend, which raises an unsettling question. How many dragons were never myths at all, but memories of something that truly lived? Not all sea monsters needed size to terrify. Some were nightmares simply because of how they were built. One such creature looked so impossible that scientists themselves struggled to understand it for more than a century. This was Helicoprion. At first glance, Helicoprion looks like a normal prehistoric shark, but inside its lower jaw was something no other animal has ever possessed. A tightly coiled spiral of teeth, shaped like a circular saw. For decades, paleontologists argued about where this structure belonged. Some thought it was a defensive weapon. Others believed it sat outside the mouth like a bizarre ornament. Only with modern imaging did the truth emerge. The tooth whorl sat inside the lower jaw, rolling forward as the shark bit down, slicing prey with terrifying efficiency. This was not a weapon for crushing bone, but for cutting soft-bodied animals like squid and fish into pieces. Across ancient cultures, myths speak of iron-mouthed sea demons and beasts with grinding jaws that shredded anything they caught. It's not difficult to imagine how a fossilized tooth whorl discovered without context could inspire such stories, especially when these fossils have been found on nearly every continent. Helicoprion vanished long before dinosaurs dominated the land. And yet, it reminds us of something important. Entire lineages of predators disappeared before humans ever had a chance to understand them. How many others vanished without leaving enough evidence for us to even imagine what they looked like? Before sharks ruled the oceans, before whales evolved into giants, there was something else, something that may have been the first true apex predator the seas ever knew. Its name was Thalattoarchon. The name itself means ruler of the sea, and fossil evidence suggests it earned that title. Thalattoarchon lived around 244 million years ago, shortly after the largest mass extinction in Earth's history. Life was rebuilding itself, and into that fragile ecosystem stepped a predator already built to dominate. At roughly 26 feet long, Thalattoarchon was an ichthyosaur, a marine reptile shaped like a dolphin but armed with blade-like teeth designed for cutting flesh. Fossils show it hunted animals its own size, something almost unheard of so soon after a mass extinction event. This wasn't a scavenger or opportunist, it was a specialized hunter. Across ancient myths, stories of world-ending sea beasts appear again and again. Creatures so powerful they could wipe out entire fleets or swallow smaller monsters whole. While Thalattoarchon disappeared millions of years before humans existed, its bones may have been discovered later, fueling fears that such a beast could return. When people speak of ancient ocean rulers, they may unknowingly be describing this very predator. Then there are creatures that seem so strange, so extreme, that they feel like mistakes. Animals that look like they were never meant to exist at all. Tanystropheus was one of them. At first glance, Tanystropheus appears almost comical. Its neck was longer than the rest of its body combined. Made of elongated, stiff vertebrae that extended forward like a spear. For years, scientists debated how such a creature could even survive, but fossil discoveries near ancient coastlines suggest it lived part of its life in water. Tanystropheus likely waited motionless near the surface, its body hidden, its neck extended. When fish or smaller animals passed beneath, it would strike suddenly, snapping its jaw shut in a rapid ambush. From a distance, its silhouette would look exactly like a classic sea serpent, a long neck rising from the water. barely attached to a visible body. Across lakes and coastlines, legends of long-necked creatures watching from the water have persisted for centuries. The shape is always the same: a slender neck, a small head, a body rarely seen. Evolution rarely produces extremes without purpose, which makes you wonder, why would nature create something so strange unless it worked? Not all monsters came from reptiles. Some came from sharks, and long before Megalodon became the king of ancient seas, another super predator ruled the coastlines. CreaturesThat was a massive prehistoric shark that lived during the late Cretaceous period. Reaching lengths of over 23 feet, it earned a terrifying nickname among paleontologists: the Ginsu shark. Named after razor-sharp knives, its teeth were designed for slicing flesh cleanly. Fossilized dinosaur bones have been found with clear shark bite marks matching CreaturesThat teeth. This shark didn't just hunt fish. It fed on marine reptiles and possibly dinosaurs that ventured too close to the water. Hyper-aggressive and highly mobile, it likely attacked anything it could overpower. Early coastal cultures around the world tell stories of massive predators lurking near shore, dragging animals and even people into the sea. Fossils of CreaturesThat have been found in regions that were once shallow coastal waters, which raises another uncomfortable question. Did early humans ever encounter descendants of this shark before it vanished? Some monsters didn't disappear at all. They simply changed. Mawsonia was a giant lobe-finned fish that lived during the Cretaceous period, growing over 20 feet long. Its thick, armored body and powerful fins made it slow-moving but incredibly resilient. Fossils of Mawsonia have been found in Africa and South America, regions rich in river and sea guardian legends. What makes Mawsonia especially unsettling is that its relatives still exist today. The coelacanth, once thought extinct for 66 million years, was discovered alive in 1938. Living in deep, stable waters, it survived while countless other species vanished. If smaller relatives of Mawsonia survived into the modern era, it's not unreasonable to wonder whether larger ones once did as well, or whether some still remain hidden in unexplored depths. Ancient fish lineages have already proven they can outlast extinction events. The ocean does not give up its secrets easily. Then there are creatures so strange, they look fake. Animals that seem more like mistakes than life forms. Atopodentatus is one of them. Discovered in China, this marine reptile had a hammer-shaped jaw lined with needle-like teeth. Unlike the predators before it, Atopodentatus wasn't built to hunt large prey. It was a filter feeder, scraping algae and small organisms from rocks. Its skull looks so bizarre that early reconstructions were completely wrong. Ancient art from the region depicts stone-faced sea spirits with wide, flattened heads and strange mouths. While these images are symbolic, the resemblance is unsettling. Evolution doesn't design creatures for aesthetics, it designs them for survival, and Atopodentatus survived long enough to leave behind fossils that still confuse scientists today. Which brings us to the final thought. The ocean has erased entire dynasties of monsters before. Apex predators, living weapons, creatures so dominant they reshaped ecosystems, and it erased them so completely that only fragments remain. With more than 80% of the ocean still unexplored, the real question isn't what existed, it's what survived, and whether some of these monsters are still waiting, far below the surface, where no light reaches, and no one is watching.